And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside SPMT off. Bring in SPMT off. It's orange!
Orange 25! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, you know.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. Keep red. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Good evening, everybody. The monstrosity that you see in front of you right now is the new orbital launch mount for Pad B in Starbase, Texas, mounted atop a whole bunch of self-propelled transporters, the SPMTs, that will be taking this to its new home. I am Sawyer Rosenstein. I will be your host for tonight's rollout stream. This is going to be quite different, quite unusual, and something we've never seen before. So, to make this history happen, I have some fantastic people that are joining me tonight. I am joined tonight by, once again, Max Evans. How's it going, Max?
Good evening, everybody, and yeah, welcome back. Long time no see, long time no talk. But yeah, it's a big night in Starbase. We don't get the movement of any kind of launch mounts very often, so it's a day that we have perhaps been waiting for many months, and it's finally upon us.
It is finally here, one step closer to the newest launch tower becoming operational in Starbase. I am also joined by Ryan Weber. Ryan, how is it going?
Going fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely been a long-awaited day to see this thing roll out. Especially long-awaited because we were always wondering how SpaceX would change the design of their mount after all the lessons learned from the booster test stand turn launch mount for Pad A. But yeah, this is really, really cool.
This is very cool indeed. And we also have the field team out in force tonight too. So we'll have to give a shout out, of course, to everybody in the field tonight. We have Jack, we have Gage, we have Caesar, all of the awesomeness, and then of course the fantastic team operating the robotic cameras too, who help out with Starbase Live. And we can't forget the voice of God himself, Kevin Michael Reed, as well as Jay Keegan also helping tonight. It is a busy night of all of the producers, all of the field teams, to try and bring you this awesome, unique event. So the road closure for tonight starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is 10 p.m. Central Time. That is 2 minutes from now. So we could see movement within those 2 minutes. Ryan, where exactly is this going? What kind of route are we expecting for this?
Well, to start off here, I expected to kind of do it'll turn back out and go to the left of this. You know, having the power packs go to the west, basically, and then it'll go straight down Highway 4, all the way down to the D2 entrance for the launch site, and it will then do a lovely turn into the launch site, go over towards Pad B, where we see one of the cranes right there, the yellow crane we see in that shot right there is the SpaceX 11K. It's currently set up with a derrick, a 66 meter boom, and a B2 Stinger, which will help it have a counterweight tray in the back for help lifting this thing. And then the other crane is the Buckner one with also a 66 degree boom, and that one's got a V-frame for counterweight tray. Once this thing moves over there, the Buckner crane will move over into position as well. And then they're going to hook this thing up with the hold downs and lift it. I don't know if they'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. I kind of want them to just get it done with, but it's going to be a sight to see one way or the other, just even watching this thing roll down the Highway 4.
A sight to see will be an understatement for this. That is true. And Max, we have 900 metric tons that's about to move here, and how will it be moving it?
So essentially, the SPMTs that you were seeing on the bottom of the orbital launch mount essentially stand for self-propelled module transporters. So essentially, you can have as many of these as you need modularly, that's a word, stacked either in length or width, depending on whatever you need to move. And in this case, they have 3, and they have about 72 axles, 24 each in this case, for moving 1,100 tons of steel and metal and everything else over to the launch site in Pad B eventually. We predict that it's probably around an hour and a half journey, depending on how quickly they're able to move it on the SPMTs. Usually they have it down to a science when it comes to transporting ships and boosters over to the launch site from the production site. But this is by far and away the heaviest. Yep, it's moving right now. Road closure is underway. This is the heaviest thing that they have moved on the SPMTs in quite a while. And there's a lot more work to do over at the launch site once it is hard down anyway. So yeah, lots to come.
And you can see right now, this is the view from Gauge. We may or may not have a camera mounted on a car, so we have the potential to be tracking this all the way down. So we should get some very cool views for you tonight. I've already noticed, by the way, I'm not sure if you saw this too, the people that are sweeping the sides of the roads with the flashlights. I mean, Ryan, have we seen any preparations in the days leading up to this for the move?
So they have basically flattened out a lot of dirt alongside Highway 4, coming from the production site all the way down to the launch site. And then at the launch site, they laid down some extra dirt, flattened it down, and then put down steel plates so that the SPMTs can roll over those plates and not roll over the dirt, because, well, if they roll over the dirt, they might sink a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of preparations when you have to move. It's last I heard, it was 1,160 tons is what this thing weighs. They are using 3 SPMTs, 24 axles apiece, so 72 axles. When you run that math out, you're doing around 16 tons per axle on these SPMTs, which is kind of nuts. Or it's around 4 tons per tire. On these SPMTs, which they're designed to take it. They are rated up to 60 tons per axle. So moving this for them is nothing, really. It's funny to say it. It's not really much for these things to move something this massive. They do it all the time. I think it's like one of the heaviest things SPMTs have ever moved is like 20,000 tons. So, I mean, it's a piece of cake, a walk in the park for these things.
By the way, just want to clarify, are we talking tons or metric tons?
Metric tons.
Okay.
As far as I understand, yeah.
And a reminder, if you have questions, by the way, as this thing rolls, you can tag us at NASASpaceflight, and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. Go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say, it's not so much about the weight, it's just trying to maneuver it around a small 2-lane state highway. In a rural area between a production site and a launch site. That's really the where it becomes a little bit tricky to do.
So right now it looks like it's doing a sort of K-turn where it's going to be turning to the left side of our camera view, straighten out, and then continue towards the right, if I'm not mistaken. This is just look how close these are to our cameras and to the side of the road. Whoa, that looks
getting real close to this camera. Holy cow! But yeah, Ryan, you called it. The power pack's moving westward on Highway 4, and then they're gonna push it essentially that way. But this Sawyer, you've seen some of the rollouts and rollbacks of SLS in a way because of the sights and the sounds and the speed of how this thing is moving. This is somewhat reminiscent of any of the mobile launchers moving on top of crawler transporter here at KSC. A little bit.
Yeah, obviously that uses giant tank cranes and a massive vehicle built in the 1960s.
Yep.
But it's the same kind of idea, just a ton of tires versus a giant track. And that felt very close to the cameras.
That
I
was
know
very
we're zoomed
snug.
in, but
I think that was closer than we think. Because I think, are we zoomed in a little bit? That might have been closer than we think it is. I don't know. Because I'm looking at Gage's GoPro feed, and it doesn't look like it's that close to the edge. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think somewhere Das just had a heart attack.
It's fine. It's fine. Actually,
Okay.
we talked to SpaceX security, and they said the CP11 was in an okay spot. Like, if they literally have my number. If they wanted it to have been moved, it's fine.
There you go. So this was all done with permission from SpaceX. So it is worth noting that we were given permission to put the camera here. So all of this is as planned. We try our best to follow all the rules as we do this. Let's see. 98 Central pointing out, one of the SPMTs is kind of missing the SpaceX logo. Did they rent one, or do they have 3 SPMTs? Ryan, do you know?
Well, SPMTs are modular, hence the name self-propelled modular transporters. They come in basically blocks of like 4. So it'd be like 4 axles, like two to a side, basically, and you can attach them or detach them. You could make a 28 axle long. You can even make it longer. You can make them shorter. As we see when they move ships, a lot of times they run with 12 axle SPMTs. When they use boosters, they do 16. Sometimes they do 16 with ships as well. And here they've attached enough together to make it 28. So they probably have a few more. Not every single one that they have is labeled SpaceX. But they may have, the company that's doing the transport probably could have brought more in for them. But there's always the chance that they bought more that just doesn't have their logo on it.
By the way, you wanted an idea of size of humans for scale. Caesar's view that Caesar is now sending us, that you see on your screen, gives you a great sense of just how massive it is. You've got the person alongside there as well. I mean, Max, we've seen that there was the aerial imagery of that planned original orbital launch mount they were considering for 39A at KSC, which they are not using. But can you kind of give an idea of just how massive these things are?
Yeah, it's not often that you get a piece of hardware as, impressive as this for scale with humans, let alone one that we're probably never going to see move again beyond tonight, hopefully. But yeah, that's remarkable. Really good close-up view here. I think that last camera was from Caesar, and I think this is one of our robots being tracked. But yeah, the launch mount that they had here that they were building over at the Cape, that was the old style, was still a massive. It was a huge mass, and we felt it every single time we drove by. But this is I've never been this close to a piece of hardware this important, let alone of this size or mass. So I'm just staring at it now. Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to not just admire the size of this, especially see it going, all the way over the shoulder of the road there, wondering if it's going to clip the bushes, things like that.
It just might give them a trim. You never know. I mean, there still is a decent amount of scaffolding on it still. We thought that they might take off all of the scaffolding before they moved it, but obviously we see now that they can still have some on it to perform whatever work is left once it gets hard down over at Pad B. Alex in the back channel saying, in about 4 to 5 months, we should get this in Florida. Yeah, because they are building a near carbon copy, if not a carbon copy of this, over at Hangar X at Roberts Road for KSC Starship operations. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, we should get this in hopefully 4 to 5 months, maybe sooner, depending on how quickly the work is progressing there. But based on what we saw in between our last 2 flyovers, a lot of work was done, and they were already on the mid-level of it as well. So it was already taking great shape, and just give it maybe a month or 2 and it'll be even farther along. So quite impressive. As we can see, they're clipping a little bit of the shrubs there. Look at that.
Oh yeah, my gosh.
They still have a little work to do. As we can see, there's a manifold there's 2 manifolds already installed. One of them is supplying water directly to the plate on top. The manifold you're looking at right now is actually where the OLM is rolling right now. You basically turn it 180 degrees and then place it on the mount, and that's going to be its orientation. So the manifold with all little hoses going into the pipes going into the plate are going to be on the gantry side, so that big steel structure they've been building. And then it's going to have like 2 more manifolds on the side, and then it's also going to have it also has a separate work platform we can see down there. There's like bars attached to the bottom there. That's a little work platform, and right under there, or right above it, I should say, should be a booster QD that'll go on top of the mount once they get all this installed. So there's still work to be done, but they kind of wanted it to get there because they can't really add any more weight to this thing without having to probably get a different crane to lift it, because they're kind of at their limit with weight and the cranes that they currently have. So they have to install it as is and then do the rest of the work while it's installed.
There we go. I do want to take a moment to thank some people here because the support queue is getting as heavy as the orbital launch mount itself. Frank, thank you for becoming a PadRat member before the stream started, along with Brett Vaughn becoming a Red Team member, and Podank becoming a PadRat member, Airwick also becoming a PadRat member, Ethereal Swordsman saying, given that the Earth is mostly covered... Oh, okay. And that it's very clever wordplay. I appreciate it, but I don't want to get people started in chat with that. Drew Nar, extra tall SPMTs waiting for the stop sign to turn green. As you can see, it has the green light. And I guess one of the questions with these is, Max, we've seen them put out road closures for certain events and things like that. What exactly is kind of the warning that gets put out for a roll like this? What have we seen from Cameron County?
So essentially, it's just posted up in a letter from the county that Highway 4, Texas Highway 4, will be closed from such time to such time. And in this case, the road closure tonight goes from 10 p.m. Central Time to 4 a.m. Central Time, which is about 6 hours. And it's about 1 hour ahead here on the East Coast, given where we are a time zone over. But usually it's just posted and everyone either gets a notice on their phone or the information is readily available on the website to go check out. But it's kind of hard to miss nowadays, and they have tons of people following it based off of what obviously transpires in Starbase more often than not. So it's always exciting to see a road closure of any sort, whether it be for a booster transport or a ship transport, or in this case, an orbital launch mount transport. So always exciting. We have been waiting for this for a while. And we are just glad to finally see it. And look at this. This camera is on Gage's truck, actually, and you can tell, like it's very small in the frame, mind you, but you can still really tell just how gargantuan this structure is.
And that's why I asked about the road closures, because we have our own vehicle in the line of cars that is now stuck behind it, although we chose to be stuck behind it in this case to get a kind of roving view as this moves down Highway 4 here. Sloth, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. ODST saying, I ordered this pizza months ago, finally glad to see the box is on its way. Think I'll get free delivery? Very clever. Austin with a $5 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com saying, we're really rolling out the red carpet, all mounting on this move. Work on the OLM continues, and thank you, you lost the game. Appreciate that.
Oh, come on. That's just a cheap shot.
Yes. Hoppe is saying, cheers from Indy. If you guys don't care about basketball, root for the Pacers. Go Knicks. When F9? Falcon 9 already launched earlier.
Sure did. And hopefully it will again in about 3 to 4 days. Such is the cadence here in Florida.
Michael becoming a PadRat member. Ninja Decimator, pew pew pew, gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Appreciate that. Plutonium 239 with a $20 super chat saying this brings back memories of the shuttle crawler back at the Kennedy Space Center. It really does. It gives that kind of vibe. And honestly, the size of the orbital launch mount itself feels very similar, Max, to the size of the mobile launcher. Basically the giant pad that the shuttle and now SLS sit on, right?
I mean, Not necessarily. I mean, this is substantially smaller than any of the mobile launch platforms or mobile launchers, depending on what era you're living in and what you're launching. But this is still a good amount smaller. But in terms of just shape and transportation method, it does look like a scaled down version of the orbiters and the full stacks mobile launch platform, as it was called then. So yeah, it kind of does, and also the sound of the SPMTs, like I was saying earlier, kind of sounds like how the crawlers sound, and obviously, it's not moving very very quickly either, and neither did the old crawler transporters. So this does feel a bit reminiscent of those times. We have seen it a few times now with the many rollouts and rollbacks of the Artemis 1 launch vehicle, and we will hopefully see just maybe. I'm hoping we don't see more than like 2 or 3 rollbacks at the most for Artemis 2. We can hope, because we got more than our fair share during Artemis 1, but it does feel like that 100%.
Isn't
Yeah.
it plan to roll out, do everything at once, and launch it?
I believe so, but there might be a rollback in there depending on where they are with Orion, and obviously depending on how any of the tests do. So yeah, hopefully no more than 2 rolls in either way. So.
Also, earlier, my brain was on the Falcon 9 Starlink launch that we had earlier, totally ignoring the fact that F9 means Flight 9 of Starship.
That makes sense.
Which will hopefully be sooner than later, which, I guess while we're watching this roll, we might as well bring it up of when everyone thinks we'll see Flight 9, given, the most recent events, shall we say, with the static fire. Ryan, I'll start with you.
I'm going to stick with what I said during the Raptor side earlier today and say May 20th, my birthday. It's the Chris B does not want that day, but I'm going to go with it. A birthday launch would be cool. And then, big firework explosion. I'll take it.
Hey, be nice. Be nice, Ryan.
Max, you, and then chat. I want to see your answers too while we're answering this.
Well, I mean, they can post notices for a net launch all they want, honestly. I think May 19th at the moment, which is what we're seeing posted in terms of NOTAMs, that sounds right, but the biggest question mark in this whole thing is getting Ship 35 rolled back out for a take 2 of a 6-engine static fire. Launch is pending on how that goes. So until we visually see a good static fire from all 6 Raptors on Ship 35 at Massey's, once that happens, then we can start moving forward and planning ahead for a launch. But until that happens, I'm not really holding my breath. But by the end of May, hopefully.
I'm seeing a lot of May 21st, May 22nd, May 23rd, which would be the 3 worst dates possible because the only 3 days that I'm not available. Let's see, May 20th, May 24th. Everyone seems to be in the same time frame, but there are a couple of people that think first week of June that I'm seeing. So this will be interesting to see what happens. Let's see here. Here's one from River Dave, who's asking, when do you think Pad A will actually put the O in its OLM? Max, when do you think we will see orbital flight from Pad A?
Kind of like how the launch of Flight 9 is dependent on the outcome of a static fire of Ship 35. That is dependent on the results of Flight 9. Assuming Starship does what they want it to do on Flight 9, i.e. The quote-unquote dumb link deploy, the in-flight relight, and of course, obviously, making it past SECO is the first step. Then at that point, if they can demonstrate that they can trust the vehicle and that it is reliable in terms of doing what they want it to do, I can see Flight 10. And obviously, they want to launch as quickly as possible to get to that ship catch milestone, which they need in order to. That's a big step towards getting the vehicle commercially certified, and obviously they had to get the whole vehicle certified for Artemis operations. So, and obviously with the uncertainty beyond Artemis 3 at this point in terms of launch vehicle for any sort of program continuation, flying as often as possible is the key. So hopefully Flight 10 if Flight 9 goes well.
Hopefully, I mean, that's kind of, I think, what we're all expecting is one last suborbital hurrah where hopefully everything works. and then we actually get the launch itself. So I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll see an orbital attempt this year. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
Hope.
the interesting thing to note again is we check out Caesar, who's literally running alongside this and then setting up the cameras for us. So shout out to Caesar running and Gage doing the driving. This isn't the absolute complete final version of this OLM. Ryan, there's still work to do on it, right?
Yeah, there's at least another 1.5 manifolds to install. They got to hook it all together. There's some internals that still probably have to get hooked up. Like my guess is they'll still have a detonation suppression system in this. They'll have a Fire-X system. Those are two different ones. One is to help prevent the Booster 7 spin boom. The other one is in case there's a fire inside the launch mount itself, it can be extinguished. That would be the Fire-X for the internal fire in the launch mount. Other than that, they gotta install. There's still 16 hold-down arms they have to install, plus all its actuators, everything else, and then all the clamps have to get installed too. So there's a lot of work still to be done. They have to add the booster QDs, and then of course the rest of the pad still has to get finished off. I mean, heck, the tower doesn't even have a ship QD arm yet. So there's.
I like Ryan. I like how you said booster QDs plural.
Yeah, it's. I can't wait to see what they look like because we have no idea. Like we know where they're gonna go, we just don't know what they're gonna look like. It's another thing they're taking from Falcon 9. You know.
Also,
again, Starship has taken things from Falcon 9, like when BN1 had its LOX tank on top, methane on bottom, and they realized that was a bad idea. Then Booster 5 had a side landing tank, and then they realized that wasn't really going to work very well. Starship has taken things from Falcon 9 and then thrown them away, and then it's taken things back from Falcon 9 at times, and some of the stuff that it does. Alex could probably go into a lot more of it than I could, but it is kind of funny to watch them take lessons learned from Falcon 9 and use them in Starship, and you go, that looks familiar. You know, it gets funny sometimes.
It is funny because, like, while Starship as a whole is what the space shuttle always wanted to be, I think Pad B's orbital launch mount, the one that we're seeing roll right now, is kind of what the orbital launch mount at Pad A always wanted to be, in that Pad B's is designed to be rapidly reusable in its design. Unfortunately, they cannot test that until they get a V2 or a V3 booster, whichever they're going to call it, out there for some crowd testing and eventually launching it hopefully by the end of summer, best case scenario. But yeah, there's a lot. Pad B's launch mount is everything the mount over at Pad A wanted to be.
I had to say this from CSI Starbase Zach in chat. He goes, because Starship should have taken the Pogo suppression system for Falcon 9.
Yikes.
We'll see how 35 goes. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether or not that succeeds or not. But yeah.
Also, we were talking earlier about how many different notices there are to tell if there's a road closure. There's even an option to sign up for text messages for when road closure comes out. Or better yet, you can see them all in the next spaceflight app, too, as a giant tanker truck comes alongside and goes, wait, I need to get through. There's something in the way. And you can see it on the left side of your screen. There's the tanker truck trying to figure out what to do. I guess they're really excited to start loading propellants onto vehicles already on Pad B, even though it's not done yet moving. 9 Central with another tip from tips.nasaspaceflight.com here, saying the fact Jack has a contact in his phone labeled SpaceX is incredible. That's definitely an anti-kilt card Jack can use.
Yikes.
But who does it dial? That's the question.
Probably Leica, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I could label Nax's name SpaceX on my phone and call him. Eric Fraser gifting a Red Team membership. Chromatic gifting a Red Team membership. And Drew Nar with the pun token awarded light truck, now heavy truck. Because there's the light truck going behind it. Anyway, let's get some more questions here. This is an interesting one, Ryan. How many stops do you think this thing will make tonight?
I don't think it'll make anything. I think it's going to go all the way. One
I guess they
shot.
mean stops along the way, maybe, to if there's any narrow spots along Highway 4, any tight turns.
I think the only time it's going to really stop and turn is when it gets to the launch site turn. That's going to be or either that or they're going to take a really, really wide turn when they do it, is what it kind of looks like they're going to do. So I don't really expect the thing to really stop that much. There's some maneuvering they have to do when they get into the launch site to get in between once they get going over the cryo trenches. They have to get in and around some stuff there, but they've cleared a ton of material out of the way in order to get this thing in the staging area so they can lift it and install it. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, Highway 4 was actually repaved not that long ago. I want to say maybe, was it under a year ago or just over a year ago? I'd have to ask the Starbase team, but it's freshly paved, and the tarmac there is way better than it used to be, especially in between the production site and the launch mount. So, and there aren't really any so-called narrow points, and as Ryan was saying, any signs or anything that are on the side of the road that might be in the way have been removed. So, assuming the SPMTs all function as they should and don't pull a Ship 25 like Flight 2 and stop in the middle of the highway, we should be in good shape. But once they get to the launch site, it'll be tricky to maneuver it into place. They might have to do a bit of dagging in there.
That will definitely be interesting to see, yes. Highway 4, notorious for its rough spots, so I'm glad they're making the improvements there. And it's interesting just the amount of infrastructure that has to be changed for Starship. I mean, Max, you and I have seen it. Alongside the crawlerway that leads to 39A, they are widening that road so that all of the Starship hardware can fit through there. Here at Highway 4, they've had to, do some paving, clear out the sides of the roads to be able to get not only Starship equipment, but now an entire orbital launch mount through that way. It's quite interesting the amount of infrastructure that's required, Max.
100%. And that then beyond Artemis 3, obviously the outcome of what's going to happen with the SLS program and its launch pad, LC-39B, is kind of up in the air in terms of if they're going to have any kind of future or not. But assuming that pad doesn't have any, assuming that pad is vacant and SLS really does bite the bullet after Flight 3, could be a new launch pad for Starship. So, but yeah, the roads have had to have been widened, and we are certainly feeling the effects of that construction beyond the press site whenever we have to go out to either Slick 40 or 41 or especially Pad A for any kind of camera sets. So, but that should all be coming hopefully within the next year. Obviously, they have to move a launch mount, just like the one you're seeing on screen, through KSC here when that's either finished or almost finished. And they've also, mind you, had to move tower segments for the current Starship tower over there, or they had to move them way back when those were getting built over at Hangar X, obviously, and they're now in place, stacked, and I don't want to say ready to go, but they're nearing ready to go. So, but yeah, a lot of huge hardware is going to have to get moved here, and that old crawler transporter may not have much of a future left. So we'll have to wait and see.
The other question about waiting and seeing comes from Space Lover here, who's asking, Ryan, how long should we expect OLMB to sit by the tower before it's actually lifted into place?
I wouldn't expect it to be that long. I mean, I could see them lifting it sometime tomorrow. Get it into place, get both cranes into position, get the rigging set up. There's a lot of checks with the rigging they're going to have to do. There is one question mark I have. It's not with the OLM itself, it's with the ridge cap. So on either side of the ridge, the ridge cap for the flame deflector, there's spots where they need to place basically a fairing cover, like a metal cover over a large gap on either side. I don't know how they're going to do that if they lift the mount into place, or if they plan on doing that real quick before they lift the mount in. They may just go ahead, lift the mount, and then figure out how to lift those in after the fact. There's always that possibility, but other than that, I don't think there's any question marks. I think they'll get this thing lifted as quick as they can tomorrow, and as quick as is safe, I should say. Oh look, the Stack Me is back.
Oh my god, it has a Stack Me sticker on it?
Yes. Well, the sign,
it really?
the sign is hanging.
It does. Look at that. That's so funny because the tower segments for Pad B, when they were stacked here at the turn base in the KSC, because those were also built here at KSC, those had to get barged all the way over to Starbase from here, and one of those segments had maybe that exact Stack Me. I don't know if it's a sticker or a poster or whatever is on there now. It had that, so it's so funny to see it back. That's hilarious.
It's the same because those arrived at Starbase around Valentine's Day last year is when a lot of those segments started to arrive, because they then started outfitting them and doing stuff and doing work on them, and they finally started doing the foundations for that tower just around Flight 4. So yeah, it should be the same one, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that it was Valentine's Day at the time, and just Stack Me with a heart.
Hence the heart. I love that so much.
And I think it was on Module 5 is what Alex was thinking. I was thinking 4, but it might have been might have been Module 5.
Trying to find a picture of it right now.
Mary got a really nice shot of all those 4 segments on a barge coming into port, and one of them had it on it.
Nothing like a 1,200-ton piece of an orbital launch mount to remind you you're single. Thank you.
God, Sawyer. Jeez Louise.
You're making me feel lonely now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to make the joke. Anyway, going back to the actual, I guess, along the Stack Me lines, Ryan, what is the process once this gets out to Pad B area to actually lift it and mount it in? What will be used? How will that happen?
So there's a there's a set of rigging. So there's the rigging is different for both cranes. One has a certain setup, the other one is another setup. I don't remember the setup off the top of my head. I'm not an expert on that one. But one crane will hook up to one side of the mount with 2 of the hold down arms, and the other crane will hook up to the other side. I think the SpaceX 11K, where it is right now, will sit, and then the Buckner will come in and be a little bit farther away when they go to reach it, because the Buckner crane has a little bit more reach with the V-frame counterweight tray that it has on it. So it can kind of reach a little bit farther while still having the counterweights a little bit farther back out. They'll hook up to those, and then they'll pick it up off the SPMTs. All the SPMTs will roll out and away, and then while holding the launch mount in the air, the cranes will crawl forward and then lean forward and place it in place. It'll be a really cool lift. It'll probably be a long one too, but I can't wait to watch it. I hope they do it like in the middle of the day. They probably they wouldn't do a lift like that in the middle of the night. That's dangerous. They'd try to do that like nice clear day where they can see everything. So
Yeah, and of course when it does happen, we will stream it.
Yeah.
Because that is too cool not to. Again, this is, for those just joining, the orbital launch mount for Pad B, the new pad that is being built over at Starbase. We've seen them working on the tower segment. We've seen them starting to dig the flame trench there. And now they are moving the launch mount itself, which was built separately away from it and is now being rolled over to the launch site. And if you have questions about the move, about Starship, about this, you can tag us at NASASpaceflight, and we will do our best to answer as many of your questions as we can. Here's one from Hop Hayes saying, if they catch Booster 14 again, do you think they'll upgrade it or refurb it to a Block 2 booster for a 3rd launch? And I'm guessing they mean catch attempt. Max, what do you think?
Oh boy, I don't think you can retrofit or modify a Block 1 booster into a V1 booster into a V2 or a V3. Whatever it does become, the structural differences internally are too great between the vent tank and also the bulkheads between the methane tank and the LOX tank. So, and it's also longer as well with an integrated hot staging ring, and also the grid fins are also in a much different position. So, I think it would be much too big of a headache to try and modify or, I guess, yeah, I think it would be too much of a hassle to change the current V1 layout into something else that it wasn't originally designed to be. Mind you, the V1 booster, has already changed a lot since its inception before Flight 1, between gaining more shines and longer shines, ditching the HPUs, getting the electric TVC of the Raptors, and internal bolstering and structure. It's not even close to what it was 2 years ago or more. So I think it'd be just best to keep going with the brand new design of V2 and V3 as they are, and keep the V1s as they are, or scrap them. That could also happen too.
Considering the design changes, there is no possible way to refurb a current generation booster to the new gen, next gen, or Block 3, if you want to call it that, at this point. Yeah. There's no way to do it, because once you start cutting into that steel, you're not going to be able to weld it back and fix it. It won't have the same strength. It won't have the same anything. As soon as you start cutting into that, you completely destroy it. So once you cut into one, you scrap it, basically. So there's no way for them to retrofit that kind of stuff on it. 14, 15, 16, and 17 will fly as much as SpaceX needs them to fly, as much as they can fly it, assuming they constantly catch them. And then eventually they'll get retired along with Pad A. And then we're going to see this operation at least one more time down here at Starbase, Texas, because they're going to have to do it for Pad A as well. So,
well, technically 2 more times with the one here at KSC eventually.
I was just talking down in Starbase, but if we're talking KSC, then we're talking 39A. We're talking maybe one or two at 37
potentially, yeah,
maybe. And then if they really do 49, you're talking like
6 more, yeah,
or I don't know. Like it's going to be, and not only that, they have to start building more towers, and we're going to see this operation a decent amount more times. I expect more tweaks to come once they start, static firing it, doing tanking tests with this pad. They fly out of it. They'll make some tweaks here and there. And those tweaks will be applied to when they redo Pad A. But for now, this is the design they're at. It's a complete redesign. It should work way, way better than what they've got. Because what they've got, it works good enough. Put it that way. It's good enough. It
works well enough once, and then it's a multi-week or multi-month refurb process to get everything ready again. So as it's like I was saying earlier, the Pad B mount is going to be, or is aimed to be, everything that the mount at Pad A wanted to be. So in here, here we go. This is an image I got on my phone. I came by the press site one night, and the modules were just sitting here all by themselves. And so I managed to get a few pictures of them with the VAB in the background. And I think not too long after these were taken, within probably a couple days, a barge showed up and got them all taken away to Starbase. So it's kind of neat to see hardware that was built and birthed, dare I say, here at KSC now being used in Starbase for their intended purpose, because, I don't know, just a cool connection.
And the important thing was, on that first image, we could see a certain sign that happens to also now be on the vehicle on the right side of your screen. So we had the Stack Me Heart, originally made here in Florida, sent over to Starbase on, Module 4, and now attached to the orbital launch mount heading over to Pad B. It's a small world after all. Thank you, Max, by the way, for getting those photos.
That was a great night. Yeah, it was. I just came by the press site, and obviously, with where we are, we have to stay within the confines of the press site. So I tried not to poke too much, but it was an enormous pleasure just to have some alone time with these just gargantuan structures. Like it's hard to get a gauge on how big they are until you're standing literally right next to them. and now they're off in Starbase, all stacked and functional. So pretty cool to see. But we should see this more as KSC activity picks up, hopefully by the end of this year.
Yep, and again, you see that Stack Me Heart in this view once again, now in living color, with the red heart there, so that is always cool. And yes, those things in person, if you haven't seen them, are absolutely massive, just for individual segments even, so. All right, we got a bunch of SPMT-related questions as we continue to watch the orbital launch mount roll by, so I'm going to kind of knock them out in pairs. First, have we gotten a count on how many wheels are being used on the 3 SPMTs? I believe the number is 72 wheels.
72 axles. So double that, and it's 144 wheels total.
More, because each axle is 4.
Oh, God, really?
Oh, jeez.
So you're talking 288.
Wow.
So 288, so you're doing 1160 divided by 288. So yeah, it comes... Oh, I missed it. I missed a 0 on that. Oops. 288. You're talking 4 tons per wheel.
That's still nuts. That's a lot of weight for one wheel and one tire setup.
That's too gross.
That's about the weight of a heavy car per wheel.
Get it? Because a gross is 144 times two gross.
And it's going like it means nothing.
Wow. It's actually moving really quickly. I mean, it's taken them, what, about 41 minutes to get where they are now since the road closure came into effect about right at 10 o'clock Central. So they're actually making really good time. They're actually a decent amount past the production site and about to come by our highway site now, which is about a mile and a half from the launch pad. So I would say that they're making pretty good time.
And don't forget, we also had them have to do a back it up first, do a little K-turn almost to get out of there, and then stop for a tanker truck.
Which was then turned around and denied.
Yeah. I would expect it to probably take a solid full 2 hours before it gets into the launch site rolling. It's not as quick as a ship or a booster because it weighs a decent amount more. But yeah, it's always cool. It's just cool to see a launch infrastructure like this roll.
Yeah, this is not something that happens very, very often at all. So it's always a treat to have views like this and get up close to hardware that will become vital to the evolution of the Starship program.
Absolutely. And as close as some of these views look and everything, a reminder, all of the cameras that we have placed are within SpaceX's approved areas. We've discussed with them the spots where it looks like it was getting close earlier, and all of the rules are being followed to bring you these views. So if you are at Starbase for an event like this, please make sure you follow the same rules too. Do we get to hear the SPMT a little bit here, I think?
I think that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
That we had there from the highway site, actually with that worker watching or walking right in front of it. Yeah, SPMTs are loud. Sorry if y'all can't hear us very well.
I
There
was
we
gonna say,
go.
I don't know if
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone can hear us right there because of how
No.
loud those are.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that the worker right there on the bottom right of your screen, that's the perfect demonstration of a sense of scale there. This is gargantuan.
Look at that. Yeah, that is a perfect idea of scale there. And yes, we need Starbase ASMR to go with our Starbase Live 24/7. Calling it now.
Just fall asleep to SPMT sounds.
Yes.
I can
exactly.
imagine, Ryan, of all people, I can imagine you are one of the ones who could actually fall asleep to that.
I don't know. It's possible. I mean, I do.
I mean, and I mean that
I deal
sincerely.
with a lot of loud sounds, so yeah, it's
And this,
I
by the
kind
way,
of used to loud sounds at this point. So yeah.
What?
Huh?
Eh?
Huh?
Gage and Jack are the ones in the vehicle, by the way, bringing the views to you here right now. You got Gage driving, Jack is in the passenger seat, camera mounted there, so a shout out to the duo getting these views, again, behind the closure there. So the team is out in full force trying to bring these views to you. Also, you get a really good idea here of the clearing kind of on the right side there of the road, making room for that extra wide load going through.
It's just this.
Hey, Sawyer, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jack.
That's actually, it looks like they're putting in a sidewalk. We're going to come up on it in a little bit here. There's a brand new, looks like they're pouring a bike lane or a sidewalk or something. You'll see it. You'll see it here in just a minute.
There you go. As it gets to the city of Starbase. Now the city of Starbase having more pedestrian access there.
It's just a big box. As Kevin likes to say, a big square with a hole in it's moving to the launch site. So yeah.
It goes in the
That's
square
right.
hole.
It goes in a square hole.
Two great minds, Jack. By the way, if you want to learn more about this and all the things that are going into the upcoming Flight 9, whatever that may be, we just put out the latest episode of Starbase Update on Monday, so you can get an idea of all the happenings.
I for sure thought you were going to say all the things that are going to go in this square hole. I thought for sure you were going to say that.
I already made the joke at the same time as you for the square hole. I'm trying to do a plug here. Do you want people to watch your every Monday show or not?
The rocket goes in the round hole.
God?
The rocket goes in the launch hole.
Kevin, quick question. What is the thrust? Like, what number is the thrust?
I don't know.
It's about that much. About that much thrust.
No, it's 3. No, you're both wrong. It's 3. The thrust is 3. You should know this.
It's enough to make it go up.
Why is it 3, Jack? I'm curious. Explain
it's more than one.
It's because it's deep NSF lore. If you watched early Starship streams, you'd know, bro.
I thought I was supposed to be hosting, but I think I've lost all control. Let's continue on here.
I think Jack just called me out also. I'm gonna go back to operating the stream. Goodbye.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin Michael Reed, who's producing the stream today. Make sure we acknowledge he's producing with Jay assisting the producing. The producers are very much appreciated here.
Hey, easy.
Here's a question from Aussie Space Girl. Max, who's driving?
Driving the truck or driving the SPMT?
Let's go with the SPMT. We know Gage is driving the truck.
Well, there is a lovely chap who is walking alongside all 3 SPMTs with a remote. Actually, no, wait. I think there are 2 controllers or drivers tonight, I think. I'm not sure if they're called drivers or controllers. But they have essentially like a big, like an adult RC control box, I guess, if you want to call it, attached to them with whatever joystick controls they need to help move and orient the SPMTs. So they are constantly walking around, primarily around the back of the SPMTs and the orbital launch mount to make sure that it is lined up with the road as best as it can be, without going over the curbs or the shoulder or hitting things that they really shouldn't. So. But I don't know if they're drivers or controllers. I think we'll have to get clarification on what they're actually called.
For what I wouldn't give, to just try that once.
I would love to see you try, Ryan. Genuinely,
I'd love to see you try too.
That'll be such good content. Like any of us, just trying to move an SPMT.
Or try to move. Let's try to roll.
It needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be something on it. Thank you, Ryan. That's exactly what I'm thinking. It can't just be an SPMT, although I would do that. Also, I don't know what shot you're seeing, but hey, look, it's the sidewalk or the bike lane or whatever it is on the right side. If you're seeing my view.
We are not at the moment, but yeah. And also, by the way, per an old SpaceX job listing, it was the self-propelled modular transporter operator is the term that they use.
Operator, got it.
Let's see here. Getting a little backed up on support. I want to make sure I thank everybody as this monstrosity continues down Highway 4. Roland Hines saying, let's hope S-35 makes it to a suborbital trajectory. I mean, technically, the other ones made it on a suborbital trajectory, too.
Every Starship has made a suborbital trajectory.
But the last two have not made their targeted suborbital trajectory.
They went suborbital, that's for sure. Ethereal Swordsman saying, don't mind me, just playing Tetris in the background. Honestly, imagine trying to do Tetris with Starship parts. That would kind of be cool.
Tetris with SPMTs.
Yes. Drunar saying, Sawyer, without Google, oh geez, how many SPMTs equals crawler transporter? Ooh.
About that many.
Three. Three. I'm pretty sure, if I remember off the top of my head, it was about 15 to 20 million pounds that it could carry. How many can the SPMTs hold?
I mean, you just do the math. So each axle can, depending on the configuration, each axle can hold up to 60 tons. I think these might be at 44, but they'll hold up to 60. So you just add enough axles together and get the number.
Doesn't help because I don't do math well. Also, I just remember all this stuff in imperial units, so that's why I know it in like 50. I'm pretty sure it was 15 to 20,000 pounds. Someone in chat, without asking ChatGPT, will hopefully have the correct number. Yes, there it is. Roland Hines. It's a big number. Methane Man, my fingers were not touching the keyboard. I swear. Mock Diamond, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Apocalypse Cow gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much. I guess this is the sidewalk kind of area that Jack was talking about, by the way. So that's 10 members who will hopefully get to see some of the photos that gets posted and taken by Jack, where maybe you could see the progress on these sidewalks in addition to everything else at Starbase. So thank you for that. And Ninja Decimator saying, that's right, the rocket goes in the square hole. Also, hi, KMR. And then JC Davis asking, now that Starbase is an official Texas city, do you think they'll block access? They've already got the rocket garden out of the way. I'm just nervous. I don't think we really know.
So, I'll quickly answer the crawler one. I got the answer for that if you guys want to know it.
Go.
Sure.
Go.
So, at 60 tons per axle, you would need 150 axles to equal the crawler transporters capabilities.
So almost double what we have tonight. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Give or take, about double what we have tonight.
But that's assuming you can fit whatever you need to on it and be able to move it on a road like this.
Uh-huh.
That's wow.
It kind of I would say this. It kind of goes to show just how powerful the crawler is.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, for machines built in the 1960s, they're not too shabby.
They're like top of the line at time, even though it was lowest bidder. Top of the line.
but that being said, Crawler Transporter 2 or CT2, as it's more lovingly called, had to be recertified and upgraded to carry the loads of SLS and the mobile launcher, because SLS is the heaviest vehicle of all the vehicles that the crawlers have moved the Saturn V, the Space Shuttle, Ares 1, and SLS.
Almost
SLS
Omega.
Almost Omega. SLS is by far and away the heaviest because of how big its tank structure is, even though it's empty, and also those six segment solid rocket boosters on each side, and also the tower that is on the mobile launcher as well. So it's just a lot of weight, and CT2 had to get recertified to move all of it.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work. It took them years in the VAB and one of the high bays just working on those. So,
and actually, fun fact, CT2, as of I think it was early 2023, was certified as the largest self-propelled vehicle in the world, the largest and heaviest.
You were there for the ceremony we gave him the Guinness World Record, weren't you?
I was, absolutely.
I remember that. How about Crawl Transporter 3? And Mobile Launcher 3, and
that ML2 out there, sure, has a bright future ahead of it.
Very
the scraps have sold very well, yeah. Let's see. With the SPMTs, by the way, Nam is wondering, Ryan, since you seem to be the SPMT guy tonight, do we know if the tires are solid, if they use air, or...
I gotta say, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think they're air.
Pretty sure
but
they're very high
I don't
pressure
remember
air.
that one. I've looked into these a lot. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I'd have to go in and look on that one.
I seem to remember very high pressure air. Yes, Max?
Don't forget the question that we had last time about access to Starbase.
Yes. What do you think?
It's a question that is worrying to visit mentally. But that being said, of the few SpaceXers that I've been lucky enough to bump into, and I've asked them this topic. Granted, obviously that they can't tell. There are some things that they can't say. Obviously, a lot of things actually. But I asked them specifically about that, and from what they said, everyone at SpaceX, management especially, says they love, well, more often than not, they love the public being able to go out there and have the access and coverage that they do. Obviously, there are some bad eggs that have gone and done things that you're not supposed to, and I'm sure there are things that they don't want us to see, but we can because we have the access. But it was invigorating to hear that people actually appreciate the coverage that they get from the current public access that the public has. So in terms of if they'll cut it off or not, I mean, if Starbase is a town, I'm not quite sure how the jurisdiction or the power lays out in terms of property. But if it's public, they can still only do so much in terms of closing off what's public and what's not. So I hope they don't. I'll just say that.
They can't close off beach access. That's Texas state law, as far as I understand. There was actually a bill that was trying to go through the Texas State Senate that would have given SpaceX control to close the highway and close the beach, and it was struck down. It did not pass, I should say, is the better way to say that. So it's still under Cameron County to control the road closures and beach closures. So SpaceX does not have control over that.
I mean, as long as SpaceX has an unlimited number or a much more increased number of being able to close the road to get moved whatever they need to, I'm sure that's what matters, at least in the near term, in terms of how much hardware they're going to have to build and get out to the launch site for launch and everything else. So, yeah, I think that bill not being passed, I think, was a good thing, at least from our perspective and the public's perspective. But we'll see what else SpaceX opts to do. But for the time being, I would say it looks promising for us.
I agree. I mean, there's still hope, and also the fact that, as you pointed out, they want people to see this stuff. They want that kind of access, at least in a safe way. And, I mean, they are putting up walls in spots where they weren't before, so anything that they do want to hide, they can just build their walls to block our cameras, but in terms of public access, I think it would be a shame if they got rid of it, especially given how much the public opinion plays into everything. And Starship, we all want this to be the rocket of the future. We want this to be the shuttle that never was. So.
100%, and especially if you wanted to, like, just directly for 1 second, like, directly compare the access that people can get in Starbase compared to KSC. Like, we are incredibly privileged to be able to have access to the press site and have views of 40, 41, Pad A and Pad B like we do. But that being said, it's still 3.5 freaking miles away at the closest, right? We can't have views anywhere near like this at KSC or the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. So, and the closest that anyone can really get is either when we're going out to any pad for camera setup, or if the public is going by from a bus tour from the KSC visitor complex, right? So just the access differential that is possible in Starbase compared to here is night and day. So, yeah, we don't have this. We don't have this in Florida, so it's incredibly valuable, at least for us.
Yeah, you're talking a government facility where you would typically need an ID check versus just going into a city. So.
Well, no, it's not like you don't. It's not like you need an ID check. It's like you need a badge to access, and then if there are other areas you want to get to, you need a badge for that as well. It's not like once you're in, you can go wherever you want. That's not how it works. Yeah, government facilities, especially the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, it's an active military complex. They're not going to let anyone just roam around in there as they please. People have gotten in big trouble for that before. So it's just it's a stark contrast in access between both coasts. But we have a lot more Starship activity coming here in the future, and because of the access that we are so lucky to have here at the KSC press site, hopefully this coverage that we are getting in Florida will only increase and get better.
Exactly. That's what we hope. And of course, that is our goal, to try and bring you the best views that we can with our access. So we appreciate you putting your trust here in us at NSF. Apocalypse Cow with the 2025 Super Chat saying, so we're rolling out state-of-the-art tech, and the interface between the mount and the SPMT is wood beams or I-beams or something else. Ryan, do we know?
It's literally crane cribbing, so it's basically wood. No, it's what it is. It's actually really, really good for helping distribute the weight, and it's also kind of like a shock absorber in a way. That's really all it is. It's just crane cribbing between the SPMT and the launch mount.
Yeah, that when you put it like that, though, what is? Oh yeah, it's just wood. I get that it's specially designed materials, but still, it's kind of funny. Max, JP Byrne is wondering, do the SPMT drivers rely on spotters? I noticed they never seem to look down at the console for long. Any risk of accidental max speed presses?
Oh, I'm sure they have spotters both in the vehicles ahead of them and around them, and there's more than one person walking around the SPMTs as well. So spotters in this situation are essential.
Yeah, especially considering this is one of the widest things that we've seen move down Highway 4. So it's kind of critical that they have the clearances, especially for something like this. Here's one from Sausage, and this is an interesting question. I know there had been discussions of a possible mobile launcher, maybe, kind of like we have with, I guess, SLS. Ryan, do we know, will this be fixed or mobile?
Oh, this is a fun question, especially with Zach in the chat here.
Got the popcorn.
The popcorn. It's not mobile. Well, in theory, it actually technically is mobile right now because
Ryan, it's mobile right now.
The launch site. It's mobile because this movie moves to the launch site right now. Yeah. And then I mean, you could say it's I wouldn't say it's interchangeable. The word I came up with after a while, especially after seeing how it looks like it's going to be bolted and not welded, but of course we don't know if it's going to be welded because we haven't seen them do it yet. Removable for maintenance, but once this thing is all said and complete, you're talking about needing a crane to remove something that weighs 1,400 tons. When it's all said and done, actually more than that, it's going to be like 1,600 tons. Because just the hold down arms alone are 200 tons. All 20 arms together are 200 tons. You're talking you need like an LR 13,000 crane in order to lift this thing off. That kind of gets a little bit iffy. I'm of the mindset that it's fixed. It's going to be installed, it's going to be welded, and it's not going to go anywhere. There's still that opportunity for it to not be welded and just be bolted, and you can disconnect the connections and remove it if you utterly had to. And the way I could see them doing that is when they would go in and say they need to do major maintenance on the flame deflector or the ridge or other things like that. They might need the mount out of the way, and it might give them the ability to do that. Honestly, we won't really know until they weld it. If they weld all the legs together, then it's not going anywhere. If all they do is bolt it, then it opens up the realm that they could remove it in the future. That's kind of really where we're at.
By the way, Zach with CSA Starbase said, LOL, here we go. That was his response. Again, we appreciate everyone here. I see Interstellar Gateway. I see Ryan Hansen's face. We're a spaceflight community. So I just want to point that out. There's no hard feelings towards anyone or anything. We all have the same goal of sharing this with everyone, including Jack right now, who is bringing us this view that you see on your screen. Again, Zach and Gage in the truck following right behind them here. So the road buddies are bringing us this view.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Can you hear me all right? Hi, road buddy. Hi.
Hi.
Wow. We have Zach and Ryan Hansen are in chat. What's up? Everybody that like contributes to this community is so amazing. Hi. Thank you so much. Everyone should follow Zach and Ryan and everyone else that in like everyone follow everybody. We're all friends here.
Why can't we be? Oh wait, that'll be copyright struck. Yes.
And struck down.
Struck down.
Yeah, before they even bolt down OLM, we'll be bolted down with a copyright strike. It's fine.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Fine. You take this one, Max. Jay Hartley's wondering, do the SPMT self-level while moving down the road?
They absolutely do. And we saw that when they were getting the orbital launch mount staged right before the road closure at 10 p.m., a little over an hour ago. We saw the wheels at different heights relative to the road because there was a slight incline going into the Sanchez lot. But the actual surface that the launch mount was sitting on was level. But the wheels were kind of at an arch compensating or self-compensating for that little incline or decline depending on which direction you're going. So yes, they do. And it's a very unique fact. But Sawyer, you know what else self-leveled?
Go for it.
The crawler transporter is also self-leveled.
Exactly.
Fun fact. I think, what was it, Sawyer, like 5 degrees? What was it?
I believe it was up to 5 degrees. So basically, as it was going up the hill to go on to 39A and B, that's a bit of an incline. So it would have to try and level itself. And then also when it came to lining itself up with the correct spot with the launch pad, the fixed service structure actually had a laser on it that the crawler transporter would try and align itself with, but they could get it centered and leveled. So yes, it was very self-leveling, very similar to this, and I think the comparisons will absolutely continue throughout the night between all of these. Cruiser Frank is wondering, I don't know if we have Zach and Gage still connection-wise, but they're asking, how do the roads look?
Did you say Zach and not Jack, Sawyer?
I said Jack.
I heard Zach. I don't know about you, Ryan. I heard Zach.
It kind of sounded like Zach.
I'm pretty sure I heard Zach. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
I said Jack, but anyway. How are the roads?
What was it? What was the question?
It was, how do the roads look right now? I know they did some repaving. They're also just putting a massive truck through it right now. How are the roads holding up at Highway 4?
Yeah, the roads look about as good as they ever have. I mean, there's still some cruddy patches, but in general, they've been doing a bunch of cleanup on some of the really bad areas as they get ready to do some widening. And they've already started that widening here, as you can see. I don't know, maybe from my view on the right side. I guess that's for the bike lane or whatever. But over by Massey's, they've also been starting off the widening project. It's going to be 4 lanes, I think. They're actually going to do like a proper concrete road, not asphalt. You know, it costs more up front first, but lasts longer and requires less maintenance in the long run. Good, they're doing it right, just like the Port Connector Road. So the road is pretty good right now. You know, grand scheme of things, honestly, can't complain. Highway 4 has been much, much, much worse.
Thank you, Rack. Also, Drunar is asking, Smack, any new ruts in the road? I'll take that as a no.
Seriously?
Thanks,
Now
Slack.
we've done it. Now we've done it. Hey, look, it's the first part of the Borg cube they're building. What? Anyways,
Thank you, Track, for the comments. We appreciate
It's almost to the launch site now, guys.
Wow, we have
Yeah.
moved fast here. As we try and see it, wait for it to do the delicate maneuver to actually make it into the launch site area for this. I do want to hit another question here. Ryan Noganog is asking, will the launch mount have a dance floor platform for working on the engines similar to the first orbital launch mount?
that is a really interesting question, and as far as we can tell, talking with even like Zach and others, there is nothing that says they're going to have a work platform. The closest they could do would be a set of rails on either side that attach to the flame trench walls, and then have a platform that slides along the trench and then gives them access to the underside of the booster. So far, we haven't seen any evidence of anything like that, though. So, as of right now, no. This does not have anything to be able to access the engines on the booster once the booster is on the pad.
And it's not like they can just move the flame diverter in the flame trench, right? Because that's permanently installed or installed very heavily. It's not like, yeah, it's not like 39A or 39B where you could move the flame diverters, right? So that's actually a really interesting point to bring up. But who's to say that they haven't already thought of that somewhere? How there's like access tunnels or something along those lines on the bottom of this launch, on the bottom of this launch mount. Ryan, do we know that, or is that just like complete speculation?
At least with a glance we got a little bit ago, I didn't really see anything. The thing is this launch mount isn't finished. The trench isn't finished. The pad isn't finished. They could definitely do something right at the end and add in a work platform. There are ways they can do it. I wouldn't put it past them. It's SpaceX. You know, I bet they could come up with something. It's just as of right now, we haven't seen any direct evidence that they're doing it. But I would not rule it out because it's as simple as that. It's not finished yet. So.
Yes, that's why I thought that was a really good question, because this is a pretty thick boy. And then again, as you were talking about, this one has the actual dug out flame trench diverter, whichever you prefer to call it, underneath it here. So
Sawyer, how many C's in thick?
At least 3 C's thick, if not 4.
That might be a K then.
No.
No. Okay, fine.
No, 3. I'll go 3 C's.
I noticed someone was talking about the access points inside the launch mount. Those do not give you access to the engines on the booster. Those give you access to the internals of the mount itself. Once all the arms are installed, you will not be able to get from the inside of the mount to the booster unless you decide to crawl on the arms up to the booster. That's not happening. So there is currently no way for that. They don't have an access platform planned out right now. Well, actually, put it this way. They may have it planned, we just don't see it.
Honestly, like that being said, though, given even since like Flight 2, even with the dance floor up, when the booster's out there, it's not like we've seen them changing out Raptors every single time. Like if they want to go back and swap out a Raptor, they'll just put the booster back on the transport stand and roll it back to the production site. So there has to be some kind of access built into the launch mount to service whatever they might need to. But obviously, ideally, once the booster is hard down on the mount, they shouldn't have to service anything.
I think the last booster they did an engine change on the mount was 7.
I.e. Flight 1
7,
or pre-Flight 1?
I don't think they did one on 9. I think it was Booster 7 was the last time they changed an engine on that mount, because otherwise the dance floor that they have for Pad A is primarily used for working on the pad itself. And the only thing it's really used booster-wise is they have to hook. So once the booster gets down there, they have to hook in all the breakaway engine chill lines. So each engine has an engine chill line that routes it off. It's a result of what happened when the Booster 7 spin boom. That's something that they implemented and it's probably going to be fixed on this one by piping the engine chill out of a QD. It would be my guess at this rate. We're still waiting to see the QDs and everything else. But the only other reason for that dance floor, other than working on the pad and that, is to remove the engine covers. Now with Pad B, they could just remove those engine covers before they put it onto the pad and leave it at that. So
there we go. It's interesting. From that view, it almost looks like it's slanted a bit. Am I mistaken in that? It looks slightly angled towards the right side of the road. I mean, obviously, it's still upright, so it's fine. But
it kind of does, especially from this angle. And we know this camera is for sure level. It could be, but that also could just be the road being not 100% level in itself, and the SPMTs can only compensate for so much.
When the road curves around this little area, on the reflecting pond kind of area as you approach the launch site, the road is banked. So part of it's that. Okay. Also, I think part of it, aside from the SPMTs being able to self-level, I am not an SPMT operator, and I am far from smart. But my gut tells me it might have something to do with wanting the center of mass of this structure and SPMT combined unit moving down the highway, the center of mass to be in a certain location. So maybe at a certain time, when the road's tilting away, you tilt it a certain way so the center of mass stays nice and centered, and you don't get this thing like leaning out over I don't know. I'm not smart. Does that sound smart? I hope it sounded smart.
Actually,
I'd say it sounds pretty smart.
By the way, Johan is asking, did the historical trail signs survive, Jack?
Hang on, I'm trying to hold this camera still. Yes, it did. For now.
For now, yeah. There's a lot of historical markers along Highway 4 and around Starbase. It'd be really cool if we did a video about that. Just saying.
Holy...
What?
No. There's a lovely question in the queue, and then the answer is in the back channel if you want to take that, Sawyer, or I can.
I'm trying to see where the question is for it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I will ask the question from Droners. Ryan, how heavy is it in waffles?
Apparently, our producer, Kevin Michael Reed, found this out. He did the math, I guess. With 1,160 pounds, 30.9 million waffles.
30,933,300.
What size waffle, though? Because the waffle is what?
I mean, I figured like the standard square waffle. Has anyone been watching Severance? I started watching Severance, and now this is making me want waffles even more.
It's a standard Eggo. 1.2 ounces.
Also, yes, did I earn a waffle party?
Waffles sound delightful right now. I can't lie.
I do.
Yeah. But yeah, so for in normal units, by the way, that's just under 1,200 tons for the weight of what we're seeing here, or yes, almost 31 million.
How much
waffles.
Syrup? Sawyer, Lego my Eggo. My 30 million egos.
Surely you have enough to share with the class, Kevin Michael Reed.
I do not. No,
Oh, man.
30 million just for me, and we're rounding the corner. Do you see this? We're so
Are we getting
close.
to around? Yeah, we're
Back
close.
me.
In all
I'm gonna go
senses
back to
of the word.
producing. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Yes. Also, NASA spaceflight officials saying Mr. Milchick wants to invite you to a disco. Nice. This really does feel like.
Sawyer, what music dance experience would you pick?
Oh, jeez. I don't want to give any spoilers or anything. We'll just stop with the severance talk.
Good call.
Look, it says stack me, as we've mentioned before, but I still love that. Made it all its way from Florida onto a segment that is already stacked now at Pad B, and now we've got the orbital launch mount itself with the same sticker. Let's see. Wilbo Baggins saying, "Wow, late. Thanks, NSF. Thanks, SpaceX, for doing this late, but we're happy to bring it to you." Doug Ramsey gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Ethereal Swordsman saying, "Just set my new Tetris best, 105 lines, 82,937. Now try it with SPMTs." Let's see. Ooh, Max. Philip Sprosty is wondering, on a different note, what do you think they will use to transport Starship and Super Heavy to KSC?
To KSC? Well, SpaceX themselves has said that they, before the Megabays or Gigabay, excuse me, over here at Hangar X is going to be done, that they're going to be barging all the ships and boosters that they want to fly out of here first, because those are not going to be done until 2026 at the earliest. So initially they're going to be barged over, and it'll be interesting to see, as we can see workers now clearing away the road cones that they need to keep the shoulders of the roads clear because a wide boy is coming through. So initially, cool. Yeah, initially by barge, and then I imagine once the bay is up and running here at Hangar X, I also assume just SPMTs as well. So
this is a great view, as you pointed out, of them literally quickly trying to tug away all of the cones and ropes and things that they have on the sides of the road to prevent people from parking there. Now, as the orbital launch mount goes by.
Wide boy coming through.
Yes. And then once they are at KSC and they need to go, say, from Roberts Road to 39A, I'm guessing we're expecting similar SPMT type transport?
Yeah, I assume so. Just SPMTs. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. SPMTs are pretty easy to get relative to building your own transporter, like the crawler transporter, and then building your own path for it. So, and I think given the width of the road now, and obviously the width that the road is going to be in the next couple of years to support further hardware movement, yeah, I think SPMTs are definitely the move.
Yeah, as pointed out, they are doing the widening of the roads near 39A. Also, you can't quite use the crawler transporter to get to 39A at the moment because the horizontal integration facility is built right on top of it currently.
Kind of in the way.
Yeah, SpaceX has a lease on that pad at last check for 30 years. They're already, I believe, about 10 years into it, but yeah, that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Correct me if I'm wrong, sorry. I think it was 20 years.
Was it a 20-year lease or a 30-year lease?
I think it was a 20-year lease, but obviously SpaceX is going to renew whenever that's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this rate.
Yeah.
It's considering what they're building there, man. Yeah.
Also, as close as this looks, I do want to remind viewers that the cameras that we have set up here were placed in areas that were deemed okay by SpaceX security. Everything that we have placed out in Starbase is following all laws and regulations of the area. So if it looks extremely close and it seems like it's irresponsibly placed, it is all placed with permission and acceptance from SpaceX and local laws. Just want to make sure we emphasize that, because boy, does this thing look like it's getting close.
Perspective is just giant.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good way to put it. It's just giant. What were you going to say, Max?
I mean, it doesn't help. I'm totally blanking on the word of what those are right now. Anybody? Ryan? Sawyer? Those.
What are you referring to?
Yeah.
on the very left of the launch mount. I'm totally blanking. Like those
attached to the launch mount itself, the scaffolding.
Scaffolding. There it is. There's the word. There's the word. It's scaffolding. Goodness gracious. But certainly the scaffolding on the very left of the orbital launch mount is certainly not helping their size problem at the moment. They've slowed way down, and they are having to inch their way closer to the production or the launch site entrance right now. And I think they have one of the SPMT's sides off the road and into the dirt right now because the road isn't quite wide enough to fit it as it is right now, but inch by inch.
Or centimeter by centimeter, whatever those are.
Yeah, whatever those are.
Yes.
They are awfully close to that wall on the left-hand side of our screen, aren't they?
That's what I was watching. I wasn't sure if it was perspective. No, but you can see the shadows. And you see, again, there's that person who's spotting on the left. Two people spotting on the left, right up against the wall, watching the margins there.
That's almost like the orbiters going into the OPFs, or the orbital processing facilities, where clearance is like inches.
Yes, narrow wings, and there was a cutout for where, I'll call it the tail for easy's sake, where that went in as well. You could still see the cutouts on the doors, by the way, if you see the old OPFs.
They are still there, and I believe one or two of them currently supports the X-37.
Oh, they've stopped for a moment there. Looks like
that's awfully close.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the team zooming in on this. Again, you've got Kevin and Jay behind the scenes working on this, and the entire team that works on Starbase Live helping out with moving cameras here. This is... wow.
Yowzers.
Looks like they're checking all their clearances still. I'm trying to see what they're looking at now.
It's really interesting because they've flattened all of the dirt to the right where all those cones are. They've had a bulldozer like leveling all of that, and they don't appear to be using it whatsoever. They're still just all on the road. I wonder what kind of acrobatics we're going to have to see them do.
And that's where they're all looking right now.
It looks like they're using some of it, Jack.
Hang on, let me collapse the little thingy on my phone. The lower third of my phone's blocked. Oh yeah, they are using it. Definitely using it. Okay, I'm an idiot. I'm blind. Ignore me.
They're also congregating right underneath that right spot, as opposed to the left where it looks super tight. They're all really honed in here on this right side. Are they in like a hole? It looks like almost.
Looks like some steel plates. There's a bunch of steel plates down there. Maybe they're encountering some mushy ground where there's not a plate, or maybe underneath one of the plates the ground is squishing. It's been raining a lot lately.
There are two SPMT wheels that looks like they've sunk into the ground.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah, look at that.
They look sunk.
And they're lowering the SPMTs.
Oh wow!
Oh, you know what? They might be lowering it to try and pull those wheels out individually.
Yeah, exactly, Max. They can just pull those pesky wheels out of service, like lift them up, and then lift the whole structure again with just not using those two wheels. Should be fine. I imagine they have some margin, right?
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly. And with only two wheels of the 200 and something that are on all the axles between all three SPMTs, like 2 is not the end of the world, I don't think.
Yeah, it's going back up again.
Until it is.
They are raising it back up, it looks like. Yeah, you see the guys kneeling there with that giant mound of dirt that I don't think is supposed to be.
SPMTs are so cool.
I'm just going to say, they are raising this relatively quickly, considering it's 1,200 tons of steel on top.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Like...
Wow. And yes, you saw the person there with the orange box is the one steering and controlling at least this side of the SPMTs from what we can see.
Oh, now they're turning one of the wheels. Inching forward now.
Are they trying to dig themselves out of it, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
You can see...
Yeah, so the soil down here is called caliche. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but that's what it is. And when it's dry, it's just like dirt, kind of clay, dirt, it's fine. When it's wet, especially when it's saturated, it becomes like worse than clay. It's just the most horrible muck that will gum up the best all-terrain tires. It looks like they're getting through it.
Yeah, you see
That poor
the blood
SPMT.
squishing out
They're
from under the
plowing
wheel.
through it though.
It's almost like it's
Yeah.
that one spot off the road, and every single tire that's going off that's going over it is sinking
Right.
into it.
Yeah.
Right, so like before they bulldozed that whole area and put those steel plates down, it was all rutted out because, employees and visitors would all sort of park right there in the dirt. And when it gets mushy from the rain, as people come on and off the pavement, they're formed like a little rut. And in some places it was much worse. In some places it was much not, it was basically barely even there. But it might be the case that when they bulldozed it, there was one of those just squishy rut spots right there. And now they're having to blast through it. That
tire's in there pretty deep.
it's moving.
It's still moving, actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They are certainly far
It's
from.
fine.
They're
I think
far
they're digging
from.
out of it.
Yeah, they're far.
Yeah, it's fine.
They're far from stuck at the moment, obviously. So I think just kind of trying to maneuver around this one area.
You see the one tire spinning with no
spin.
traction there.
The one wheel that could.
Spin.
The SPMT.
This is really cool.
Yeah. SPMT watchers.
Yeah, we're
South
getting
Texas
some unique
SPMT watcher.
SPMT action today. This is like, it's a special treat. How often, we see plenty of rolls, we see plenty of ships and boosters and even just weird stuff rolling down Highway 4. You only ever see, this is only ever the second launch mount, and presumably the last launch mount in Starbase moving to the pad, at least for years. However long it takes them to refurb Pad A's mount, or refurb Pad A if they end up going that far with it. If they even do. Oh, look at that wheel!
Wow, that took a
Jeez.
dip. But yeah, you
Is it
see
like
them.
each wheel successively as they go through the rut is like having to deal with it, and then each wheel gets through it, and then it has to be like, it's neat. This is neat.
Yeah, you see them
Yeah.
like manually touching each of the axles there as it goes through and working on it. Alex in the back channel calling this 288 wheel drive.
Yeah, the ultimate off-roading selection.
Who would have thought 1,200 tons and wet dirt? Who would have thought you would get stuck?
I mean,
Well, it was only for a short time.
Yeah.
It seems like they got
I
stuck.
would-
You would have,
It
Ryan.
wasn't really
You
even
would have
stuck.
thought.
It wasn't
No,
really even stuck either.
No, Jack. You know what? If Ryan was operating the SPMT tonight, he for sure would have gotten it stuck.
Probably.
To be fair, if you remember the D and Jack road trip stream, we got the car stuck on the beach. Around this SPMT, I would immediately drive it off the road into the water, much like that concrete truck the other day.
Oh dear. And that one bus before flight too.
Or the
Oh yeah, the
semi
bus! I
with
forgot
the
about the bus.
It was
Yeah.
It was right in front of our camera site. Now I was getting the last of my cameras set over
Yeah.
there, and I remember it was this one coach bus that thought the area to the north of the road looked like a good place to pull a U-turn, because there isn't a ton of place. Like, there's no room for a bus to pull a U-turn otherwise. So he pulled way off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he obviously, TLDR didn't go well, and he got stuck and was there for many hours.
Remember the telehandler too that was at the in the way of the view of the launch site from the restaurant, from that one remote restaurant spot. There was a telehandler that was broken down there for I want to say months. Months.
Jeez.
Multiple launches where that telehandler being stuck there. It's just this caliche, when it turns into muck like this. I've only ever really been stuck twice in my Land Rover owning life. And one of those two times was early Starbase days, SN11 era. I drove out in one of the dirt roads out back by the highway site and got very, very stuck immediately. And thank goodness Mary was around, and thank goodness Andy was around, because Mary called Andy for me, and then Andy came and pulled me out. Otherwise, I would probably still be there today. I'd just be a rumor. Hey, you hear about that one guy that got stuck and never came back?
Hey Jack, what about the machines that dig things? What about one of those? You wouldn't get stuck in one of those, would you?
No comment.
Well, actually, folks, we are now happy to report that they have made it past the area that they could have gotten stuck at. They're beginning to make a right turn to, I assume, orient the entire launch mount to go in to the launch site entrance. Look at that.
It's going to be a cool turn to see them,
Oh, yeah.
using every little bit of maneuverability that this machine has. Props go to the operators of this thing. Like, absolute skill. I always wonder, what do they do all day when they're not SPMTing? Like, surely they need more than one SPMT operator, right? Like, around every day. So there's more than one SPMT operator, like, at Starbase at any given time, in case they need to move something. What are they doing when they're not moving things? Because that's the exception, not the rule. Like, if you're an SPMT operator, what are you doing when you're not operating an SPMT? I'm dying to know. Somebody, if you know, please tell me.
By the way, Kevin Michael
So, like-
pointing out, I think we have some of the sounds of the SPMTs that we can kind of hear. I know you're hearing a little bit while Jack was talking.
That means I should shut up. I'll be quiet.
I wanted to hear your ramble. It was fine.
Yeah, so to put this in perspective, the road closed at 10 p.m. Central Time, which is about 95 minutes ago, and they're already at the launch site. That's not too shabby for an object this big.
Way faster than I expected.
100%, yes.
And now comes the fun part, seeing how they do with the actual turn into the launch site.
And we deliberately put this camera setup. This is danger trailer. We deliberately put this right here so it would be out of the way. And yay, the view is nice. Like, holy cow! Look at that thing.
Yeah. That's a shot right there. Wow.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the solar panel in the view of where we have this all set up. This is a monstrosity in terms of size. Again, you get a great comparison with the people standing around it now, just how large this will be.
It's just think, this thing is designed to be able to hold on to a 6,000, probably 7,000 at some point, metric ton vehicle fully fueled, and then take a liftoff at 10,000 tons of thrust. Is what it's designed
or more at some point.
And and hopefully be able to be reused either within the same day, or I honestly think a good goal for this thing within within a few launches of it is a turnaround time of Pad 40. Because trying to get quicker than Pad 40 that's quick. That's quick.
But that being said, Pad 40 isn't exactly a clean sheet design, since it served Titan 3 and Titan 4 in past, so they already had a basic structure to work with in terms of a flame trench and everything else. Pad B is a brand new design, so it'd be
the most.
Go ahead.
For the most powerful rocket ever made,
and it's going to get more powerful.
Jeez. When you put it that way.
As I was driving back to Texas from LA, I was driving down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, as one does, and there was some cattle around, and I'm driving down a road. It's many miles the thing I was going to shoot, and a car starts approaching me from like way up the road, and I'm like, okay, it's probably the rancher. Turns out it was the rancher. They're like, what are you doing out here? So I explained what it is I do and why I was out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, yeah, Elon Musk's building the world's largest rocket by a factor of 3 on a public beach in South Texas, and it's just like there. So we're going back to the moon. And they were like, you're crazy. Anyway, see ya. But it's a thing. This is a huge rocket. It's wild.
Yeah. Look at the dudes there with the dapping it up there. Is it dapping? That's what the kids call it?
No cap.
With the high five and
for real?
That was cool though.
For real, on God,
That's
no
a dap,
cap.
no cap.
No kizzy. Wow.
Okay.
Wrong.
All right, we're done. We're done. We're done.
Enough of the brain rot.
Wow, what did we do? I should probably thank some people here, because we're a little bit behind. Drew Nar with the fun for Iris Door as a dance floor. Ethereal Swordsman. Oh gosh, hope no one has popcorn. Waffle Jockey. Minecraft reference acknowledged. Ethereal Swordsman. So nice of SpaceX to finally make a box big enough for Jack to be as tall as Gene. Oh, wow.
Yikes.
What's that? I didn't hear. I didn't catch that. You don't need to repeat it or anything. I'm just letting you know I didn't hear it.
Ethereal Swordsman said, so nice of SpaceX to finally make a box big enough for Jack to be as tall as me."
I heard it. Yeah, no, thanks.
That
Yeah,
was
I
a
know, I
joke,
heard it,
Sawyer. My
thanks.
goodness.
I know, it makes it funnier when you pretend it's not the joke and you repeat it and make Jack angrier.
Thank you, Ethereal Swordsman. Hey, Sawyer, do we have more support?
Yes. But I'm not going to read it now. Interstellar Gateway, good to see you, with the $20 super chat saying, Brian, the OLM will be welded.
Oh, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna say it for certain. Don't get me trying to start a fight with Zach right now. If it does get welded, then I will tell Zach I told you so. Until that happens, I'm holding off.
There's no sense in thinking that you know how this is going to work unless you are inside SpaceX.
Right.
I just think like a number of times. I mean, you just don't. We'll know when we know. Until then, who knows? Well, I know that's like way super vague, but that's how you operate and don't end up calling a launch mount a water tower. Like, no one wants to do that.
or a downcomer, a transfer tube.
There you go.
Max, it transfers the tube up and down. It goes up and down. It's a downcomer is just not the right name. The labels say transfer tube. Why are you trying to make fetch a thing?
Which way does the propellant flow in the transfer tubes?
Both
Down.
ways.
That's irrelevant. It goes both ways.
It does go both. It actually does go both ways.
But during flight.
Yeah, no, good try. Sawyer, we have more support?
Hey. By the way, during flight, when they go to refuel it, it will go the other way.
Well, you know what, Ryan? I don't like you right now.
I got you there, Max.
Transfer tube. Also, the labels say transfer tube. Get out of here, Max. Stubby nozzle bad.
Who even asked you about stubby nozzle?
Who even asked you about downcomer transfer tube issue?
Jack.
Anyway, we're seeing the back end here of the SPMTs as it makes that tight turn into the launch site. This has been quite a spectacular show here of the vehicle, of the operators moving it, and just this massive piece of metal on its way. I do want to continue thanking some people. Eric asked a treat saying, I've heard speculation SpaceX will barge over a ship booster to 39A, but where will they load a ship on a barge near Starbase? Where is the port access, Ryan?
Get it to the port access road and then get it to the Port of Brownsville. They got more than enough infrastructure there to be able to handle a Starship on a barge. They deal with ship breaking, so I'm pretty sure they can handle a Starship.
Yeah,
the Port of Brownsville rules, and the Port Connector Road is super robust, so they're good to go. But like over the years, they've been doing so much utility work to make sure that there's no overhanging lines on Highway 4. If they have to take a booster or a ship all the way up to Highway 4 to the Connector Road, that I'm sure they could when they get to that point. And if they are working behind the scenes to make stuff like this happen, I wouldn't be surprised if SpaceX ends up with property or like a wharf, like a lease on the wharf at the port. And there's other ways to get from Highway 4 to the canal, other than the Port Connector Road. Like if you're driving into Starbase, around the giant Elon mural and statue, there's off to the left. But right now that road is dirt. But so was the Port Connector at one point. There's many ways to get from Starbase to the port. I'm excited for that though. Like I love port operations. One of the first things I started doing in spaceflight and aerospace was port stuff when they were building the first drone chip. So that's going to be really cool. It's something we'll definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, you could probably also kind of go in reverse because we've seen plenty of things shipped from the Cape to Starbase. So it shouldn't be that much more difficult to go the other way around. Load it at the port of Brownsville, send it, and then offload it at the turn basin. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
No, I'm interrupting you. My bad. A couple weeks back or months, time's a flat circle. It all blurs together. When the JFK, the aircraft carrier, came in, like it's a deep water port. They shipbreak oil rigs, they build oil rigs, they shipbreak aircraft carriers and other giant military vehicles like Starship and a booster. No big deal.
Exactly. And this thing has made the turn, it seems like. We are now
And
entering...
actually, if you
launch
look carefully, if you look in the middle of the SPMT, you can see them already compensating for the differing elevation there inside the launch site. So whoever asks about if they self-level, there's your precise example right there.
Oh, yeah.
So about to go over the cryo trench here soon. The new one, the new cryo trench going to pad B.
Amazing.
And just like that, in an hour and 45 minutes, it made it from the Sanchez lot into the launch site. How about that?
That's impressive.
This pad is just nuts. What they're building.
Dude, it's gonna be nuts when it finally comes online, like properly insane.
So they're going to use, and this is coming out of the tiered environmental assessment that finished today. By the way, that finished, so SpaceX can now has authorization to launch 25 launches per year, and actually, because of that TEA, the regulatory side of Pad B is approved. I think the only thing left is some water stuff they'll have to figure out, but the main regulatory stuff of that pad is good to go now. So that's a big plus. It's gonna be nuts when they get all this thing installed and everything. The prop load time of this, what you can't see off to the left there, is gonna be 9 liquid oxygen pumps and 9 methane pumps, or eight methane pumps. I mean, when it's all said and done, with the upgrades they've made to subcooling pumps and line sizes, they're gonna be able to take a upgraded stack and fill it in like half an hour, in like 30 minutes to 25 minutes maybe.
Are they backing up?
Oh god, they're backing up.
Backing up.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Beep.
You know, I would love to be able to like interview or talk to one of these SPMT drivers. If any of the people who work on the SPMTs at Starbase are watching or listening, reach out to us on socials. I think that would be a really cool person just to talk to, get the story from. Please reach out to us on the NSF socials. And anyone, honestly, check out the NSF socials too. There's going to be some awesome photos, I'm sure, from this roll. And of course, we'll keep posting updates all the way through the construction of Pad B. We are on all of your favorite social channels, but I would really love to hear from one of them. Let's see. Wilbo Baggins saying, dull moments not guaranteed. There is never a dull moment. All facts, yes.
Facts, no printer.
Drew Nar saying 1,200 tons plus the weight of the SPMTs. Ninja Decimator saying it's a down tuber, you hooligans. Love you, Ninja.
But there's no up or down in space.
And Tekran asking, are those airless tires? I believe there is air in those tires, just very high pressure. James is wondering...
If only we can get tireless air.
You're breathing it right now, Jack.
Look into microplastics, Max. A lot of it's tires, tire particulates.
I'm tired of those jokes, Jack.
Sawyer, come on. It was really funny.
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay.
Come on. I thought I'd be getting some traction with these jokes at least.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the pun tokens. The pun
You're
tokens.
saying my SPMT jokes don't lift your spirits?
I would say it makes you sound not very level-headed.
Oh, we are on a roll tonight.
Oh my God! Maybe a lift.
Dear God,
we can lift
what
our
did I
spirits
walk
tomorrow.
into? Oh my God!
Wow, this is
that was like rattle them off like 7, 8 in a row, like bang, 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 bang.
I've had a lot of caffeine. Yeah, what was that our longest chain ever?
That might be, yeah.
That might be.
That was a self-propelled pun transport right there. That was...
Oh my God.
I gotta have a terrible one to end it, right? Also, shout out to the dude on the scooter.
Yeah, pun fu fighting, Alex is saying.
You could tell
I
it's late.
probably could have added one to the mix, but I'm not going to. You guys already did it enough.
You could tell it's late because of the way it is. Here's a question from James. I'll throw this one to you, Ryan. They're wondering, do we think Pad A will get this type of OLM installed in the future, or will it keep the OG design?
Well, it can't keep the OG design because they're switching to 2 QDs, and there's a lot of other changes they can't keep, like the hold downs for one are drastically different. Now that pad is gonna go bye-bye. They'll slice it up and destroy it, and they'll destroy the foundation, take out the steel plate. They'll dig down a flame trench, build that up, then build a second OLM like this and build the whole thing up. Yeah, they'll do the whole thing at Pad A as well. We'll see how that tower fares, though. We'll see if they need to do anything major with the tower. That's, I think, my biggest question mark for Pad A going forward. Or, plus, will they replicate all these pumps on Pad A? I wonder if they're going to do any of that stuff, too. There's a couple of question marks.
SpaceX tearing down historic infrastructure? Never.
No.
They could never.
Oh, boy. Random question here from Kyle, but a good question. What's the latest about Hoppy? Is there some potential refurb happening, do we know?
I'm sorry to laugh at the question, but Ryan, go ahead.
Refurb? For what?
I mean, maybe it'll be payload one day.
No, Hopper needs to stay where it is. It's the guardian of the launch site. It checks the papers of everything that's supposed to go into the launch site. Oh, hi, look, it's Jack.
Hi, Jack.
And Hopper will stay there for all eternity. It's the one thing they can't get rid of. They can get rid of Booster 12 all they want. Even though I don't want them to. Even though I don't want them to. But never get rid of Hoppy. Never.
Don't you dare say get rid of Booster 12, Ryan. How dare you?
I mean, they don't think anything's sacred. They got rid of SN15, so what do you want?
Them to preserve Booster 12.
And they kept 20. Out of all the ships, they kept 20.
I know! Like, that makes no...
Right.
I don't know. I'm not involved. I don't know. I can't say.
Also, I love that NSF merch now comes in Jack's favorite color, orange. I don't know if it's the exact international orange, but you can now get orange shirts at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Just want to point that out now, in case you were waiting to match Jack with the shirt colors. That particular one, yes, is crew merch, but we have plenty of shirts, especially from our newer collections out now, that use the orange. And also, we now have our Starship tile collection, too. Look at that. That is unbelievable. Can't wait till we see actual Starship with tiles on it, as opposed to the ones that are just available on our tote bags, our drink mugs, the gators, all of those. Not subtle enough, huh? By the way, someone was just... They were saying they thought that maybe they were doing a bit of a cleaning on Hoppy. That's why. Or Star Hopper, or whatever name you choose for it at this point.
They did take its nice shiny exterior skin off, which I kind of want them to replace it. Put like a new take new shiny stainless and put the outer skin back on for Hopper. I kind of want that.
I mean, it's the way its appearance has evolved is also evolved with the story of how Starbase has evolved, obviously. So, like, before they took the skin off, remember, it was all tattered and, like, dented and ripped from the absolute just hailstorm that was Starship Flight 1, because at that point in time, it was inside the pad fence and was in very close proximity to the launch pad. But now it's, of course, outside on the road for everyone to see much better. But I don't know. I think we should just like leave it as it is for now. Honestly, I just leave Hoppy alone.
I mean, as long as it doesn't become like Ship 26, which did need to disappear. But
that you be careful, Sawyer.
They're still taunting us because half the nose cone still exists in the scrapyard.
Wait, does it really?
Yes, they destroyed the rest of it. half of its nose cone has been sitting in the
Did you not watch
scrapyard.
the Starbase update?
I was about
Flyover?
to say the flyover Starbase update. I guess Max didn't watch it, but it's still there. It's been there for months on end, and they're just teasing us. I can't wait till someone does a flyover and it's gone and it's scrapped. It'll be a very
We
very
should
good
put
day.
mods if you have the link. Put it in chat for people that have not seen it, in case anyone hasn't seen it.
By the way, I like the name card in the top right of the screen. It says, it's Hopper. I mean, I don't... I have no... I've got no one in this fight. I will call it Hopper or Hoppy. Whoever can persuade me. By the way, going back to the puns, Techran saying, I treaded that I asked that question.
No, gee, that was a dreadful pun.
Oh! See, if you guys are trying to tread on me and my puns, it's fine. Space Ignorant saying, when Jack said tireless air, my brain blue screened.
Error 404, brain not found.
Also, now it says, it's Hopper, give it the
Hey,
respect
that's the error
that
code I
it
get every morning.
Nice.
Just
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Just silence and then just nice.
We're talking about Ship 26 and Hopper and 404, and we get nice.
I cannot wait for
Oh,
Ship
it's
69.
EJ in Checo says Ship 26 sucks. Thank you.
There
EJ.
we go.
You're very
No,
correct.
this is slander at this point, man. I can't stand for this.
Uh-oh.
Did I hear that the Ship 26 fan club needed to come out?
Yes, Kevin, please save us.
No, it didn't.
It's like 5 on 1 right now.
Come on, Ship 26 fan club in chat. We need to see you. I know you're there.
Ooh.
It's basically
EJ
just
was
Corpse fan club at this point. Like, it's just the nose cone. Why are you such a fan of?
Ship 26 forever.
Legends never die, Jack.
See, look at that. Look
Corpse
at chat.
26? Got it.
Look at chat. Chat.
Yeah.
No
That's what
Ship
we
like to
26
see.
around here.
All right. See, I told you. Okay.
Hey, you know
back to
what?
work.
Actually,
Bye.
I just saw somebody in chat. Ship 26 never rutted.
It's true.
It never did.
Very true.
Yeah, but it never flew.
It fired more than most ships do.
Well, yeah, that's because
I
they
don't-
actually go into a trajectory.
NASA spaceflight official is saying they're all KMR burner accounts. I only have one burner account. That's it. You'll never know
And-
what it is.
And Ship 26 also broke in the flame trench over at Massey's. So
Exactly.
Ship 26
Historic.
is now broken.
So what? So what? The last time I farted in a new pair of underwear, I broke those in. Who cares?
Oh my god.
what the
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
This is where we just need just silence after that statement and then just Ryan to go, nice.
Ew, not nice. Not nice. It's midnight Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern, folks, here.
These late night rolls do be hitting different, don't they?
It's getting to be that time of night, y'all. And correct me if I'm wrong. Are we starting to see supports being moved below the corner so the launch mount can be set down? I think
no, they won't set it down.
Oh, they won't. Okay.
No, this is going to get rolled right into the staging area. They will bring the Buckner crane over. They will line it up. They will put the rigging. They will pick it up off the SPMTs itself and then roll the SPMTs out of the way.
Okay. I saw something else and thought it was like support wood.
They're not going to put supports in. I will say this, just to let you, just as a perspective at how heavy it is and what they did to when they built it. The 4 stands that are left over at Sanchez, where they built the mount on, those 4 stands are hooked into pilings that are going like 20 meters into the ground. They did that. Well, they did it mostly for stability, but it kind of goes to show you how much weight they anticipated they were going to have and how much they wanted to spread out over the ground. So it kind of helps keep it stabilized. They don't really have anything like that at the launch site set up, so they're going to keep it on the SPMTs until they lift it, most likely.
Which Bleary is asking, when do you think they will lift it? I will get to that question after we take a look at Hole. On your screen on the left, remember when we saw the SPMT kind of getting stuck in the dirt and they paused for a moment and eventually worked their way out? This is a photo from Jack in the field with remnants of where that hole was dug.
I think they needed some more steel plates. It looks like they were missing like a few.
Look at how long it goes too. Then you have that single steel plate, it looks like, and then the giant hole continuing underneath that.
Forgive my ignorance. Is that wood or is that metal?
As far as
It's steel.
Is it steel?
plates.
Okay.
Sheet steel.
Steel plates.
That is quite a sight.
You know,
That
like
is-
when they're doing construction on the road or the highway, and they like have a trench dug for utilities, they'll put steel plates over it. It's basically just that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the plates that I roll over so that I don't get caught in a hole, which may or may not have come close to doing before. Anyway, here's how the hole was formed. In fast motion.
Whoops.
You can see the sideways slide there. I don't know if they're trying to get out
That's
of it.
right. It goes in the mud hole.
Oh my god.
It's digging its own flame trench.
If there was ever a perfect demonstrator to see or show how much this thing really weighs, it's this.
That is... also, shout out to the team that's working late nights to roll this. Ignoring the cameras because they're actually doing their jobs of making sure that everything is within the safety limits. But look at that. That is fantastic.
I think a better demonstrator, Max, would be like if you had a giant scale and on one side it was like gorillas, so you could see how many gorillas it took to, balance out the weight. I think that would be more impressive than, this.
Also, Rocket Bird using their 32-month member milestone for a very significant question. How many waffles will it take to fill that hole?
About that many.
Yes.
It doesn't work when you say it like 20 times. It works like once, maybe.
I've said it like 3 times tonight, Jack. Can you even count?
You're smart.
42, the ultimate answer to universe, life, and everything.
Well played.
I have a feeling that Kevin's already trying to figure out with ChatGPT how big the hole is and how many waffles would fit in it. By the way, I have to acknowledge some people who first said, help, I'm trapped in a pun token factory. I mean, I'm more than happy to help dig you out. Although I'd probably just add more pun tokens to it, which would be dangerous. And then Emerald Ivy, Emerald 4, saying they should add big googly eyes to Hoppy. Now we're talking.
How about no?
Thank you, Dr.
Big
Evil.
googly eyes to what's left of S-26.
Yes,
Okay.
now we're talking.
Okay, now, hear me out. We stick it inside... It's not going to fit in there. You stick it inside the payload bay of 35 because 35 is going to blow up again, so then it'll just get rid of it. So
My brother. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
Max, are you going to go to Key West for this one?
QS? What?
Are you going to go to Key West for this one? For Flight
Key
9?
West.
In case it goes,
Key West.
In case it goes kaboom? Kaboom boom?
You know, I've been talking about that with D and just also just mentally, like, I don't know. If it wasn't a booster reflight, I'd be very much inclined to go to Key West just in case, but like it's a booster reflight. It's kind of a big deal. So I'm not quite sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Depending on what it is, I may
What if
find a spot around here to see it by me.
What if, Max, we get some sort of confirmation, just like purely hypothetically, we get some sort of confirmation before launch that there will be no catch? Like, if you know that for sure, how would that factor into where you go for launch? Because, I mean, I loved watching a Starship launch. If you've never seen one, you need to see a Starship launch. But
in terms of not being there for one in person, Flight 9 might actually be the best possible one, especially if it goes kaboom boom again.
Kaboom boom. I don't know. I'd have to hear that they actually are not going to catch it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I still need to see my first.
You do. Can confirm.
But I mean, we already have so many people out there. The team that's at Starbase is amazing, especially for an event like tonight. I mean, having Jack and Gage and Caesar out in the field, having the entire Starbase Live team operating, having all of the commentators on here, having Jay and Kevin working in the background. This is one of the best teams, and I have to give a shout out to every single one of them tonight. As big as the Orbital Launch Mount is as big of a heart as everyone has here putting into this. So shout out to everyone. And I mean, I just have to say
Thanks,
to them.
Sawyer.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I love having you guys out there.
Gage just yelled, "Thanks, Sawyer," and then the security guy looked over like, "Is there danger?" And then he realized, no, that's just Gage. And now we're good. I think we're good. I don't think Gage is about to be tackled, but it's always a possibility. He is gauged. Oh wait, no! Here comes security with a taser. Oh, I gotta go. Security has a taser. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say if. Never mind.
I've got an idea. How about this? If they come near you, just offer them something from our new thermal protection system merch at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. What do you think? Because we've got a whole new collection now, in case you didn't know. We've got a tote bag, we have a drink bottle, and it's in different sizes and different lid types. Because I know different people prefer different types, whether you kind of like the more Stanley type or the cooler type.
I like drinking things out of different sized containers.
We know there's different preferences, so we went with all the different kind of designs on it. There's also a gator, too, which I know Jack has worn out and about and is really cool. So shout out to the shop.
The TPS tiles on this one are sick. I like the TPS tile one. We also have like that steel one. I like the TPS design, though. I mean, the hexagons, as we all know, or should know, are the bestagons, right? They're the bestagons.
They are.
Right?
The bestagons. I've never heard that one before.
Oh my God, Max! Do you even internet? I have a video for you. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna send you a link. I'll send you a link. It's awesome.
You know I'm like 80 years old mentally, right?
Yeah. How are you older than me mentally? I don't understand it. It's like legitimately a thing.
I'm like 80 and 5 at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, you're both older and younger than me, so like simultaneously.
It's exhausting, man. I'm telling you.
Max, we should go back to New Zealand.
Jack, we were in New Zealand. Man, that trip was 11 months ago already, man.
Was it really that long?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was in mid-June of last year. God, I'm never going to forget it. Rocket Lab, please have us back if you're watching.
Anyway, it looks like things are settling down there with the move. I haven't seen those tires moving for a little bit. Getting close, I think, to getting this set down. And getting ready for the lift, which, Ryan, when lift?
Are they setting up? I'm trying to see if they're setting up counterweights and they're going to set it on the counterweights. Wonder if
that's what I thought I spotted earlier. Something to have it set down on, but I could be wrong.
Maybe I'm seeing some. It's hard to tell where those are.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of counterweights laying around because they're all gonna have to be used for the cranes. I don't know why they would do that. But in terms of when it was lift, I mean, today. I mean, it is today already. I guess it's 12:08 a.m. Central. So it is the 7th. It could be lifted today. It really depends on how ready they are. So it needs to roll to its staging area. The other crane needs to come over. And then the lifting team that they have will then have to go in, hook both cranes up. They'll have to load test everything, check the rigging, check everything, make sure it's all good to go, make sure the pad side's good to go. It's possible they lift today. I wouldn't put it past SpaceX to do that, just so it's lifted and it's done. And they can get it in, you can start getting everything else installed and worked on while they're waiting on Flight 9, because we think Ship 35 is probably going to have another static fire, and then Of course, we're kind of waiting on that right now, so Flight 9's a little bit of ways away. But I wouldn't put it past them to do it tomorrow. I don't know if they do it Thursday, because I think there's supposed to be rain and showers most of the day. So if that were the case, it'd probably push to Friday, because they'll want a clear, calm, easy day to do something like this, especially a lift this complex. So
There you go. And of course, when it does happen, NSF will be live for it. I saw someone saying, "Is this week's episode of the Flame Trench?" Kind of feels like it.
It could be.
Um,
Oh my God, it's EJ.
I,
Oh my God,
That's
EJ's
right.
here.
It goes
Oh,
in
no.
the EJ hole.
I have.
Wait, oh
no
God. Oh
clue.
God. Oh God.
Jack,
What am I
I
doing?
swear.
Oh God.
No. No.
No!
It's late. It's very late,
Dude,
okay?
Jack.
Hey, we got some people waiting for the
Jack.
cameras there. Thank you guys for watching, working out there, hanging out with Jack. There you go. With the face palm, love it. I thought I was hosting this thing, but apparently not.
There are no rails
That might
anymore.
be the new
Where-
worst thing I've ever said on stream. Worse than that other thing I said that one time.
That does kind of takes the cake there, one Jack. Yeah.
That kind of takes the cake there, bud.
That
Yeah,
face
there,
palm
bud.
though was perfect. Yeah. Anyway, where do I even go from here? I guess while we're talking about the flame trench, James is wondering, is the flame trench complete, Max?
Not quite yet. They still have a long way to go with getting all of the plumbing hooked up for all of the water that has to flow through the diverters. But they have made a lot of progress in the last couple of months getting the diverter. Shut up, Ryan. getting the diverters in, and then also they had the actual top piece that's like a triangle shape that actually goes on top of the diverter to make it a smooth transition from each side. So not done yet, but I believe that they will all be finished up in roughly the same time. That
Yeah,
and
still-
also the orbital launch mount.
They still have several more wall sections to install. In fact, what's funny is the ridge and the flame deflectors are fully hooked up to their water tanks. The water tanks aren't filled, and they're not hooked up to their pressurization system, but the lines are all hooked in. So, in theory, they could flow water through it if they wanted to. But we're probably a ways away from that. So.
By the way, I just have to go back really quick to the gators there. Zach is asking Jack if he's the model for the NSF Gator. No comments. All right.
Mr. Yak?
Jack's too embarrassed after his last comment.
Yak.
Anyway, Kevin Michael Reed has a thing, apparently.
Oh, okay. This is on stream now.
Yes, what do we have, Max?
I just posted this picture. I don't even know how many minutes ago. Just because it's a cool night out here. I'm still set up exactly as I was for the Starlink stream earlier, considering how
Doesn't
close.
the picture have metadata? You could literally know exactly how many minutes ago.
Well, Jack, I don't recall talking to you. So just, yeah, it's just a cool night, man. VAB sitting right next to the VAB. No one else is here at the press site. As we have it all to ourselves. We're talking about and covering some Starship activity in Starbase, which is all going to come here eventually. Which is why the VAB is right in the background, man. It's just we live in a really cool time to be alive, man. And this is just one of those nights where it's like, yeah, this is real, and it's all coming here. And there are certainly worse places to be right now. So, just feeling a lot of gratitude right now.
That is such a cool shot. Now, speaking of other things, Shiloh's saying, so, when's the OLM patch reveal? Kevin Michael Reed! I'm kidding, we don't have one. That would have been cool, though. But, of course, we will have
Oh,
one.
God. Somebody
What?
on the beach is grilling. I can smell hamburgers, wafting on the breeze. The smell of sweet, delicious charcoal grilled burgers.
Hey, Jack.
Hi.
Hamburger.
What?
That's a very inside
Yeah,
joke to Jack
that's how
and I.
cooked I
Yeah,
am.
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
cooked
yeah.
I have like one brain cell, and Max knows that if he says hamburger in the right context, he'll get me to laugh.
Are you cooked like medium well, or well done, or?
Whichever one is like a little bit of pink, you know, like
Mid-rare?
not like still alive, but like, you know, a little bit of pink, you know, not ruined.
So between medium rare and medium, got it. But yeah, thanks for telling me that. After I hadn't eaten all day, I tried to start eating dinner before this stream after Starlink, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, they're going to the top of the window to roll this thing." So I scarfed.
You know what would have solved that problem is eating at some point during the day.
Yeah.
Overrated.
You could have done what I did, Sawyer, and jammed 6 egg rolls hastily into your face mouth, and then eat a little thing of ice cream, and then feel really logy for like an hour, and then drink a Red Bull and come out and shoot the roll. You could have done that. That seems like a plan to me.
It seems
Yeah.
like a plan.
I'm sorry, face mouth?
Max, it's late. Okay, it's late, Max.
As opposed to what?
Don't worry about it, Max. It's late, okay?
As opposed to what, Jack?
Oh.
Hey,
God.
so launch mount, am I right?
Yeah,
so
this
Bame's not
big
having a
square
strong
thing.
call of bondulance.
This big square thing that might get lifted today. Yeah.
Also, I probably could have done that, but Jake would have been mad at me later. Emerald, we read that one. That didn't clear from the panel, apparently. Oh no, Jay, is it broken? Drunar saying, no, they can't flow the water through the diverter yet. If they do, the welders will drown. Yeah. And then...
That's
Does anyone else feel like the flame bucket is like a forbidden water slide? Like if you had a nice raft and they fired that thing up and you were at like the apex of the flame bucket and you just like rode it down, I don't know. Is that
I'd do
like,
it.
you know, like,
I'd
you know, like sometimes you want to eat like a Tide Pod. It's like a forbidden water slide, like a forbidden snack. You know,
Whoa.
No,
we
what,
here
is
at
that just me?
NSF do not endorse
Is that just me?
That's just you. My goodness gracious, me oh my,
You've
Jack.
never wanted to eat a Tide Pod.
I have
Here at
never
NSF,
wanted to
we
eat a Tide Pod.
explicitly say, do not do that and reject that idea. Please, do not eat any Tide Pods. No.
And at this point, we should make it a universal thing that Jack's new call sign is face mouth.
Also, I do want
What
to
are
point out
rails?
We
that,
don't. Yeah, nothing that we're on right now.
interestingly here, Ion Stastic saying ship 16 through 19, 21 through 23, 27, and 32 want a word with ship 26 apologists. Ship 26
I'm now using this point in time to say that I dislike Ship 26.
Thank you.
Hey, EJ. Nobody asked.
Yeah, but I told anyway, Max.
Yeah, but nobody.
I asked.
Ryan asked. Oh, hey, look, Jack's back.
Oh, he got booted. Now he's back.
Yeah, am I allowed? Am I allowed to come back?
No.
So, I guess I know we kind of mentioned it, but for the people that are somehow still here, which we appreciate all 3,300 of you, what is the plan for unloading this thing? What is NSF's plan? Where can people go to keep up with the latest on everything currently going on with the Orbital Launch Mount here?
I don't know, Sawyer. Where can they go?
I mean, you can check out all the NSF socials. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. We will, of course, post some of the highlights from tonight, like getting stuck in the dirt. That's a fun one if you want to share that one. Of course, when we go live for the actual removal of it, we will be posting that on all the socials, and we will be live here. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you are so you know when we do go live for that event. So, yeah, we will have you covered for the entirety of it, as we have with pretty much all of the construction of Pad B, by the way. So... where do we even go from here, folks?
This is what 2 months of no Starship launches does to somebody, I guess.
Honestly, man, like we're desperate at this point.
Yeah.
I've been having some Starship launch withdrawals, chat. I'm not going to lie. And everybody here.
EJ,
Yeah.
you gonna come out for Flight 9, EJ? Huh?
It really depends on when it is, man.
Yeah.
Looks like
Well,
the
EJ,
AT&Ts are off.
good news. It'll launch when it launches.
Whoa. Wow.
Oh.
Are you a wizard?
I'm a wizard.
Other good news. You can watch everything that's going on leading up to Flight 9 on Starbase Live, one of our 24/7 live feeds here that we have at NSF, which is where we will be sending you momentarily as we wrap up our coverage here tonight of a wild roll of the orbital launch mount over to Pad B. Next up, the lift. I got to thank all the people that were here today. I have to thank the field team. Jack, thank you for being out there.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. You're welcome, Sawyer. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Thank you for all the support because we have a giant team of people, not just out here in the field, but also everywhere else that makes this thing work. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sawyer. Also, Gage and Caesar holding things down. They rule. We're going to get this trailer moved back to its other spot, so we have a long night ahead of us yet.
I was going to say, please make sure you give a huge thank you to Gage and to Caesar, both out there providing video. Caesar literally running alongside the vehicles, Gage driving the car that we were following behind it with. Max commentating with me on both the Starlink launch and then right into the Starbase activities. Thank you for joining me.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It's such a huge privilege to be here, y'all, and thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, whether we're on the rails or not. It's always such a good time, and this is an amazing time to be alive. Just could not be more grateful. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you as well to Ryan Weber. Always great to have your Starship knowledge here, and apologies for the insanity.
Oh, it's a pleasure as always here. Oh, I always come here for the fun. It's always fun with Max, and Jack, and EJ. Everything always gets out of hand. Or I mean, you don't intend it to, but it makes it more fun. I mean, what are rails? So, pleasure as always.
Yeah, normally that's reserved for just the Flame Trench, which is our Friday show, which, by the way, this year will mark 1 year of our rebranding to the Flame Trench with episode number 50. Yes, we missed 2 of them. So that'll be cool. I have to give
really?
Yes, really.
Whoa. I don't know how to feel about that.
Long March 5.
Now Long March 5.
I even created a GIF for that. But Kevin Michael Reed was the one who helped bring a lot of the items that you see to your screens. Apparently, the Cloud Reporter, a.k.a. Kevin Michael Reed. Thank you very much. Although we didn't get a cloud report tonight, but appreciate you operating things. As well as Jay Keegan, who's been helping out with tonight, both broadcasts, pushing the buttons, pulling the levers as well. I mean...
Did you need a cloud report? There's no clouds. It's a perfect night at Starbase. Don't you wish you were there?
Yes, I guess. I don't know. I'll be there hopefully for a launch, but until then, we will see you all over at Space Coast Live. I am Sawyer Rosenstein. I have been your host for this insanity. Well, host for most of it, and then the last part, everyone just ran over me without the rails. So.
Did you say Space Coast Live?
And Starbase Live, and McGregor Live. I'm tired. Kevin, roll the outro. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCPA chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Planet.
Water towers fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside speed off. Bring in SPMT off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Décollage.
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? Sure. We don't need any more of these.